Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another monthly market update with fellow eXp agents around the state. I am Kristen Gomes with Gomes Selling Homes, brokered by eXp Realty, and I represent the South Coast area. We have Carly Graham representing Greater Boston, Lisa Parenteau on beautiful Cape Cod, and Gerard Meenagh over in Western Mass, Berkshire County. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Excellent. Beautiful sunny day.
Yeah. Yes. I'm so excited for the spring to be here. And as we've seen, the warmer weather has brought more inventory. So let's talk about this extreme seller's market that we're still seeing. Inventory is still low across the board. I know I'm speaking for the South Coast, but we can all concur that it is still low for all across the state. Really, buyer demand has not slowed down, even with that increase in interest rates. But Carly, how busy are these open houses that you're seeing in the greater Boston area?
So the open houses are still booming. I'm actually seeing a little bit more creativity on the listing agent's part. And that kind of goes back to, what we do as real estate agents is really trying to modify dependent upon our seller. I had a showing I did last night, an open house I went to last night, and it was an open house 4 to 5:30, and then again this morning 9 to 10:30. And really, it's an investment property. It needs an investor. It needs someone to really go in. It's probably not a tear down, but it's a gut job. And I think that the listing agent was smart, and this is why we are hired to do what we do. Is they made it those times because it's not the Saturday, Sunday, everybody come, big long line, because that's not the type of house that was meant for the first time home buyer. It really needed a lot of work, and you need special financing for that. So I think it was pretty smart. And I think that kind of goes back to, what we always talk about, hiring a licensed real estate agent who knows what's going on in the market and can modify and change, whether you list it and whether you do an open house, when you do it, and be creative and smart, because you're going to get the right buyers for that house. So I am seeing some changes and some modifications in the open houses. I'm also seeing, besides having the Saturday and Sunday, some appointments, some not, I'm seeing a lot more during the week, really people opening their homes back up, Thursday, Friday showing, maybe an open house on the weekend, and it really alleviates all that madness on the weekend. And I think that that's very smart for the listing agents. It's smart for the sellers, because you can kind of control a little bit more of how that showing, that open house goes. And again, I think that's just kind of, what we're seeing sort of in the greater Boston area is in terms of like open houses.
Yeah, I can say the same for the South Coast, that the weekends are definitely the busiest. With the spring comes longer daylight hours, so I appreciate those twilight open houses that happen, or scheduled showings, that now I am starting to see less by appointment only for open houses, slightly more first come, first serve. Yep. I do still appreciate those appointment slots, because when it is first come, first serve, there can be those long lines that we have seen throughout the last year. So Carly, this question is for you, but also anyone else can piggyback off of it. Do you anticipate the demand to slow down this year?
I don't foresee it slowing down. I don't think that interest rates, I think that's kind of what's really driving. We have so many qualified buyers out there. And if the rates sort of stay the same, even if they go up just a little bit, it's not the same as, when my parents and everybody, back in the day in the 80s were buying, and it was 18% was their rate. So I think that we're going to still see that. I think sort of the greater Boston area, we have strong buyers who, fortunately have not, lost their jobs and are still working and are still financially sound and can make those purchases. So I don't foresee that it's going to slow down. I think it's going to change again, like we're seeing the open houses changing. I think we're going to see that kind of change a little bit. We could certainly use some more inventory if people are thinking of selling. Again, we're seeing, we can modify based on the property, and really help our sellers, make that leap and be able to do that with COVID and everything sort of petering out and changing, and being able to move along a little bit quicker, get some inventory going.
Absolutely. And speaking of interest rates, we have seen a slight increase in primary residences. How about second homes for both Gerard and Lisa? Any interest rate changes over there?
definitely seen the interest rates going up over 4 for second homes, which still, I mean, good grief, it's kind of still quite low, but there definitely is an impact and an increase. I just want to talk about open houses just a tad. So in my market, which is really a resort and second home market, we don't have, number one, as many sort of more distressed properties that investors would be looking for. We certainly do, but not as many as in more of a metropolitan area. And secondly, because it's a resort and second home market, we typically were having a lot more activity on the weekends. Well, everybody's working from home now. So, hey, guess what? They don't have to wait till the weekend. So I would love to see more people taking advantage of those commuter open houses on a Friday night, or as Carly mentioned, during the week, because that's actually going to give your seller a little bit more exposure depending on their situation. What I'm looking at a little bit of a trend of, and I think it's not great, is where an agent, this has happened a bunch of times, just opens it on a Sunday for like 2 hours, and that's it. Now, perhaps the seller, is medically compromised. I mean, there could be a reason why, and I don't want to presume not. But the overwhelming response and the difficulty of multiple offers and all of that, I'm hoping that's not the reaction to why we're seeing some of those really, really small windows of availability, or something going in the market coming soon, or going on like so many of us have seen, but the first showing at the open house on Saturday. So you've got this more pent up demand. Everybody's dying to get pictures coming soon. More pictures coming soon. I mean, so everyone's like, what is it? What is it? And then, so by the time the weekend comes, I mean, especially God bless, like last Saturday was sunny. I mean, it was like, a carnival down here, I swear. It was crazy. And there's people out front directing traffic. And, I mean, it's very challenging to make a decision that quickly for so many buyers, especially if, what we're going to talk about in a minute, about if you have a home to sell as well. So I guess, I think the second home market's a little bit different, but it's still a lot of the same concerns we're seeing everywhere else for sure.
Absolutely. And we did just touch on it, but as we know, with the lack of inventory, it puts sellers that are looking to purchase at the same time in somewhat of a situation. This needs to be handled confidently, organized, and clear communication, which I know we are all excellent at. So when it comes to a home sale contingency, Lisa, how are you guiding your clients through submitting offers with them?
Yeah, and I think, as you mentioned, we can't emphasize enough how important it is to work with an agent that's got experience in dealing with every aspect of this kind of a transaction. So many of us have to sell our house before we can buy another house. Not everybody, but a lot of us would have to do that. And so having that conversation with your sellers about, what the options are for them. Is there a way that they can do, first, all right, so back up a little bit. An offer in this market that's very competitive with a home sale contingency is going to probably sink pretty quickly in that list of multiple offers. And most properties, unless they're a super dog with a flea or it's been on the market forever, they're going to have multiple offers right now. So if you have a home sale contingency, that's just a complete crapshoot. Nobody is thrilled to death with that. So how can we have a home to sell and not necessarily make it a contingency? Those are the kinds of discussions that you want to have with your potential buyers. So one thing is whether or not they could qualify for a bridge loan. See the lender that you're working with, make sure that you're working with a lender that can actually process a bridge loan. Not all can, and whether or not the buyers would qualify for that. And that means that they're going to pay 2 mortgages for a couple months, which for lots of folks would be worth it today to be able to get the next home of their dreams. Another way is to pull out equity from a current property. Is there some way you can pull together a line of equity or pull equity out of your current property to make the offer cash, have it look like cash, while at the same time get a mortgage on the property? We're not saying don't mortgage it, but you're not making it a contingency of that sale. And then there are certain lenders, like one that I work with at Total Mortgage, where they have a program called the Greenlight Program. We're actually going to talk about that in one of our future Power Girls sessions. And that's where the lender actually puts those buyers into underwriting. So they're way down the road on their pre-approval, and they really can, depending on their risk tolerance, they really can make an offer waiving that mortgage contingency or waiving that home sale contingency. So, and then lastly, you have to make sure that they're serious sellers. Are they really ready? Are they ready to sell? Are they starting to pack stuff up in boxes? Have they really made the decision that they really need to get out of that current property? Are they willing to do what they need to in a short period? And or is that home on the market already? And do you have an accepted offer? Are you at purchase and sale? Are you past mortgage contingency? So communication between all of the agents is hugely important in those domino kind of settings. So it can be done. It's not a prescription for a lot of deep sleep for 2 months, for sure. And it needs to be a line of communication has to be open. Everybody's got to be really honest. You got to be really responsive. But it certainly can be done, and it's something that you need to explore with your experienced agent.
Absolutely. And you said it quickly, but it also comes down to the relationships that we have with other agents as well. Over on the South Coast, I am still getting offers accepted with home sale contingencies. Thank you very much.
I'm
But
here.
it's also setting that expectation with the agent on the other side of, if I'm saying I'm going to get this done, you have my word that it's going to get done. I'm doing everything I can to make sure I'm positioning these properties with the most amount of eyes on it from the moment it hits the market, but the marketing that goes into it continues to make sure that we get it done and the communication is there. So having those relationships with other agents is just as important as the communication and the organized guidelines that we have with buying and selling at the same time. And Gerard, because we know that this is just such an extreme seller's market, what advice would you give someone who's considering selling their house without an agent?
Well, the common thread through what you've all said so far is that the importance of having an agent, or at least the importance of having someone that knows what they're doing, and us as agents know what we're doing. We have a thing called for sale by owner, or FSBO, in the market, in the industry. FSBOs are someone who's going to go out and sell their house. And in the market as it stands right now, it's a really seller's market, an extreme. We were talking earlier about, has anyone ever seen this kind of market in the history that they've been in it? And I don't think you can find any time in history of real estate a market as it is right now. So there's always that, I would think, if you're going to sell your house and you would think, hey, let me try to save 5%, 6% and put that in my pocket. There's so many steps to selling a property, selling real estate, and us as professionals do this on a daily basis. Yeah, it's very tempting to try to save some money, but in the long run, you're gonna make more money going with an agent. There's a lot of things that, legal aspects and ethical aspects that you're not going to be really, aware of or looking for. So you could go ahead and try and sell your house. And I totally understand it, why they would want to try to sell their house. But when it comes down to it, if they want to really make the most money, you want to go with a professional, a real estate agent, a realtor. Also, there's things that we do that they're normally not going to do. Like you said, advertising. Mm-hmm. We advertise your property. I personally myself will do Facebook ads, for one thing, and they're not cheap, but at least we expose your property, which you're really not going to get visible. I guess you can do it, but we've done it on a regular basis. We do it on a regular basis. So, you're better off. And I'm not saying this because I'm a realtor, but because we know the market and we know how it works, and you're better off going with a professional realtor, and especially someone who's in the area that knows the area is also very important. So for FSBOs, I'm here, and I've gone to FSBOs and said, listen, let me help you. I want to know what's on the market. Your house is on the market. I'd love to come in and take a look at it. And I will, advise them, and I actually try to help them as far as pictures. Pictures are very important, for one thing. You don't think of these things when you're trying to sell your house on your own. So I would encourage people to go with a realtor. That's what we do daily.
This is what we specialize in as real estate. So even anything that we can do to help, we will try our best to. We do say it time and time again throughout all of these videos, but working with an agent that knows their market is key, knows their market inside and out. This market is unlike anything anyone has ever experienced, but to have the experience in this market previous to this and have been closing deals throughout the last year, so you know what to expect, is something that we take pride in, and we set that expectation with our clients. We all specialize in specific parts of Massachusetts, myself on the South Coast, Carly in Greater Boston, Lisa on Cape Cod, and Gerard in Western Mass. We would love to hear your thoughts on this video series by you leaving a comment below. We will be back next month with another monthly market update, but for now, I will see you then.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Have a great month.
Great day.